The following program contains strong sexual content. Viewer discretion is advised. All new today.
Dr. Phil, what is sex?
It's the conversation
I was a teen mom. I don't want my daughter making the same mistakes
every parent needs to have.
Your daughter said, I don't feel like I'm part of this family.
When guys give me this attention, I feel like someone actually wants me.
How to talk with your kids about sex.
You find your daughter with multiple men, and you slap her in the face. Usually, there's not a whole lot of dialogue after that. Let's do it. Why don't we stop all the drama, stop all the fighting, and let's go get you better.
Here we go. Have a good show, everybody.
If I can help get this family back on track, are you willing to do that?
Ready, free, take.
This is going to be a changing day in your life.
Dr. Phil, where do babies come from?
How old do you have to be to have sex?
Hi, Dr. Phil. Why do mommies and daddies kiss? Why do mommy and daddy sleep in the same bed?
If I like a boy in school, how do I show it?
What do I do if a girl wants to kiss me?
I'd like to know if boys kiss boys and girls can kiss girls. Is a giant dinosaur? Dr. Phil, what is sex?
No, it is not a dinosaur. It is not a dinosaur. It is a topic that makes many parents cringe and just run for cover. Seriously, you hate that, right? There is no denying it. Sitting your kids down to have the talk can feel like fingernails on a chalkboard. But it's the conversation that every parent needs to have. But when is the right time to actually sit down with little Susie or Johnny? I want to ask the audience, which is filled with parents today. So pick up your Paget gadgets. At what age does sex education begin with your kids? Is it A, birth, B, 8, C, 10, or D, 12? This is not an essay question. You push the button. All right, let's see what the audience said to that. Take a look. So 50% or more say 10 to 12 years of age. Okay, we'll talk about that. As shocking as it might sound, the right answer is birth. The right answer is birth, and a lot of you go, whoa, whoa. But I'm going to explain why. But first, I want to talk to a set of parents, John and Julie, who say it is way too late to have the talk with their 15-year-old daughter, Karen. Take a look.
I am shocked by her sexual behavior.
My baby girl's all caught up in the boys, and I'm very angry.
The sexual conversations she has on Facebook are so graphic that the woman that wrote 50 Shades of Grey would blush. We found her having chats with two boys at one time. One of the boys was saying, I'm going to pull your pants down, and we're going to do numerous other oral things to you just like we did before. Simultaneously, in another chat with another boy, he's saying, I want you to come ride my... I couldn't believe it. I was so upset.
I can't read those messages.
I don't think he wants to believe it.
She's my little girl. It's very hard for me to talk about.
We confronted her. She admitted she's been sneaking out her window. I am 100% convinced she's having sex with a lot of boys. She was brought home by the police because she was caught in a car with two 21-year-old guys.
The night that she was brought home by the police, phone was taken away, locked down the computers. I went ahead and took the door off of its hinges. And also over here, I went ahead and put a screw into the track that she can't get out. We have taken away everything from her. She has nothing that a 15-year-old girl should have.
I have confronted her so many times about this behavior. I asked her, what are you going to do if you get pregnant? She goes, I put it up for adoption.
Okay, now clearly you guys are concerned about this because you think she's in harm's way, right?
That's correct.
And what's your biggest fear, knowing her and what the fact pattern is here?
We're afraid that she's going to wind up on the streets, that she's going to possibly get into prostitution, drugs. Everything seems to lead that way. She wants to do it her way and her way only, and she believes it's her life at 15 years old, and nobody else should tell her how to do it.
We don't know any of the people she's been communicating with, talking to, the guys. She sneaks out. We don't know who she's with, what's going to happen. If she's talking like this to these boys and she goes out and decides she's changed her mind and she doesn't want to do the things that she's been saying, it's probably going to be too late.
Well, you say you don't know who she's out with, but you do know at least one occasion she snuck out and was found with two 22-year-old boys.
Yes.
Police found her, bring her home. What was her reaction to it?
She said she didn't think there was anything wrong with it. She told the police there was nothing wrong with it.
Mm-hmm.
There was nothing wrong with what she was doing. It's her life. She should be able to do what she wants to do.
Completely disrespectful. When we tried to question her about what has been going on, where was she going, how was she hanging out with adults, because they were going to a party. They all three said it to the police, her and the two guys, and she refused to talk about anything. She just admitted only to what we knew and would not give us any information.
One of the things that struck me about this is you find your daughter having sex with multiple men, and your reaction is to slap her in the face.
I got angry.
Okay, look at that from her point of view. Because, look, let me just jump right to the chase scene here. I got a whole list of things that she apparently has done, guys that she's been with, et cetera, et cetera. There's no point in going through all that. We all know what we're talking about here. She is behaving in a promiscuous fashion. It's unacceptable to you. It's unacceptable to you. Your reaction has been you've grounded her for 2 straight years. And you say, your words, you've turned the house into a Fort Knox. Right, no makeup, no radio, no phone, no access to the internet, and you've pretty much stripped the room bare.
The makeup and that stuff was about 3 weeks ago. That's when we found that was the last instant with she had a nook in her room. We really didn't know you could get on Facebook with that. We thought she was just reading her books, and that's when we found her having the dual conversation, and that was the last straw. That's when we went in the room. I'm trying to talk to her. She's refusing to answer. He's grabbing the makeup out of the room, and that's it. You're done.
She had a cell phone that we didn't know about. That was destroyed, unfortunately, probably too quickly by myself in anger. And we slowly have taken privileges away from her. I don't know what else to do. And just to go, if I could go backwards, when I did slap her out of anger, that was not my initial reaction. That was after she refused to talk. She refused to tell us what's been going on, where she's been.
She was standing there arguing with the police officers.
The police were in my house, and she was being extremely disrespectful. And I'm sorry, I'm her father, and I'm not a violent person, but when you disrespect authority that much openly in front of somebody, I snapped. Okay. I don't want you to think that it was my first reaction.
And look, I am not here to throw you guys under the bus. Right. Sincerely, I am not. I understand that you are very loving and concerned parents. But what you want to know is how to change this, right?
Right.
Yes.
And when you look at it logically, I don't know, just in my experience, hitting someone in the face always tends to kind of dry up the conversation. Usually, there's not a whole lot of dialogue after that. And that doesn't mean that I'm not asking you to be perfect. I understand being frustrated. But I am going to tell you guys exactly what I think is going on here, exactly what I think you need to do to change this. You may not agree with what I say, but you're not going to be unclear about what I think about this when we come back. We've got to take a break. We're going to hear what their 15-year-old daughter has to say about why she is having sex after the break.
The things that my parents have been saying are true. I did have some inappropriate conversations with boys. I have been sneaking out. I've had sex. When guys give me this attention, I feel like someone actually wants me.
I have not put her on birth control. That is something that I have planned on doing. It's pretty obvious we can't control what she's doing, and she's going to keep doing it.
My thoughts on birth control are I shouldn't have to be talking about it. She's 15.
Well, that was John and his wife, Julie, who completely disagree when it comes to putting their highly promiscuous 15-year-old daughter, Karen, on birth control. Now, at this point, you think you should.
I don't like it, but yes. I mean...
And you think you shouldn't have to, so it's ridiculous. That's caving in. That's saying, okay, I capitulate, you're going to have sex, so here we go.
Yes.
Well, birth control is always a hot button among parents, but at what age can you discuss birth control with your daughter? 9 years old, 12 years old, 14 years old, 16 years old? A, B, C, or D? I want you to vote right now. We'll see what you guys think. I'm going to tell you what I think, and I'm going to tell you what I think is going way wrong here. All right, audience, you said that you thought the age to do this was 12. The research shows that the most effective age to start this discussion is actually 12 years of age. All right, why do you think she's doing this?
We missed something somewhere, that's for sure. I don't know when or where.
I think what she has to say is very informative, so you may hear some of it for the first time, maybe not. Let's listen to what she had to say, and then we'll talk about it.
The things that my parents have been saying are true. I have been sneaking out. I have been lying. I've been hanging out with older people. I've had sex. When I lost my virginity, it was last year, I did have some inappropriate conversations with boys. They call me pretty. It didn't make me feel wanted. Sometimes the guys would say, oh, I just want to bend you over the couch. When guys give me this attention, I feel like someone actually wants me. Being locked up in my room makes me feel like I'm left out of the family. I'm like not a part of it anymore. I don't have a relationship with that. They have really high expectations for me. I'm gonna have to get better and stop being so bad. But I don't know how to stop.
She said, I don't feel like I'm part of this family. I don't feel like I get any attention. I have no relationship with my father. They have very high expectations of me. I know I need to stop, but I can't do it. I don't know how. And what do you say to her? You say, if you don't like it here, we can go to court and find you a foster home.
What had happened, that was
Doesn't matter
a few years
what
ago.
happened.
Yeah.
Were the words spoken?
They were spoken a couple years ago, and she
Okay.
in anger, yes,
Okay.
and I...
Guys, listen, you don't really need to defend yourself because, well, maybe you probably feel like you do. You say it's hard to look at her knowing what she's done. So, I mean, both of you are appalled by this. So her perceptions are correct. She doesn't feel like she belongs. She is being rejected. She is being shunned. My point is this. You couldn't be driving her more to these guys and this promiscuity if you put her in the car and took her to their house. Your behavior, there's no other possible outcome. If you continue to interact with her the way you are, she is going to continue to do what she does until she gets pregnant and has a baby that you two are going to get to raise. So the point is, do you want to defend what you're doing, which isn't working?
No.
Or do you want to get a new tact and get plugged in?
There has to be a change.
So what do you think needs to happen to change that?
Well, we need some help, that's for sure. There are times when we would be, come watch this TV show with us. Come sit with us. Let's go to the water park.
We just got back from vacation, and it was the three of us, and she didn't want to spend any time with us.
But we had found
I
out
chalked that up to being a 15-year-old. You know,
she
you're
also
with your
had a
parents.
phone.
And
she had access to the internet that we didn't know.
I must be really crappy at this.
No,
No, I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. I must be really crappy at this. I don't believe my ears. Look, you guys are defending what you're doing. How's it working for you?
It's not working.
Then why do you fight so hard to hold on to it? You know what you should be asking me? Neither one of you. I always listen for certain things when people are here that tell me where their head is. And one question I've been listening to from you guys that I haven't heard yet, particularly from you, is, okay, I tell you what, Dr. Phil, she is not behaving the way I want her to. She is not embracing the values that I want her to hold dear to her. I am not having any influence or control over here. It is getting worse, not better. Tell me what I can do to improve this situation.
That's what we want. That's why I contacted you. I don't know what we're doing.
But you haven't spent 1 second talking about that. You've been saying, okay, Here's what happened in the middle of the summer. Here's what happened in the cost program. Here's what happened with this. Here's what happened. And the reason I did that was this, and I did that with this, and I was only angry, and I was frustrated, and I was that. Okay, so I get it. And since you didn't ask, I'm going to answer anyway. Here's exactly what you need to do. You need to re-engage with your daughter. You need to get over the fact that she has disappointed you and behaved in a way that you think is bad for her and embarrassing to you guys. You need to sit down with her and say, I don't know everything that you're feeling, but I want to play for you a DVD of what you said to Dr. Phil and the people there, and I'd like to go through this line by line, and I want to talk to you about it, because you are wrong. You do belong to this family. Yeah. We do love you. I am sorry that I got frustrated. I am sorry that I have pulled back from you. I didn't know what to do, and so I did it. But I want to talk to you. I want to hear you. I want to know what you have to say. Don't ask me to tell you it's okay to do what you're doing, because I just can't do that. It's not okay. I'll never tell you it is. I love you. I care about you. I want to know what you're experiencing. Tell me why you're doing what you're doing. Tell me, and then when she does that, you can't judge it. You can't say, oh my God, how stupid can you get? You can't do that. You've got to say, okay, I understand how that makes sense to you and your 14-year-old brain, but let me tell you from my point of view. So I hear what you're saying. Now let you hear what I'm saying. Because as soon as you judge her, that's just another way of slapping her, she's going to shut down and pull back. And it's hard to talk to parents sometimes. She does need some help here. And I will make arrangements for that for you. I will bring in very specialized help for you as a family. This is not a Karen problem. Mm-hmm. This is a family problem. Right. You have as much ownership in her choices. You have as much ownership in her choices as she has in her choices. All right. Think about everything I've said. I'm going to add another story to this that's related, a little different place on the continuum, and I want us to continue the conversation. So I want to introduce a mom who says she's terrified to talk about sex with her 12-year-old daughter. Now, we just revealed 12 is the time to talk. So I'm going to tell this mom exactly what I think needs to be said. We'll be right back.
I don't know how to start or even have the talk about sex with my 12-year-old daughter. I was a teen mom. I don't want my daughter making the same mistakes that I did.
My next guest, Deanne, says she has absolutely no clue how to sit with her 12-year-old daughter, Kylie, and have the all-important sex talk. Take a look.
I don't know how to start or even have the talk about sex with my 12-year-old daughter. I don't know if it's the right age. She's not asked me about sex. Was it too early? I do not feel comfortable. I am very terrified of making a mistake. She is starting to have little crushes on boys. I was a teen mom. I don't want my daughter making the same mistakes that I did. I want to ask Dr. Phil how to have the sex talk with my daughter.
I brought in some reinforcements today. So here to help me is a member of our advisory board and a clinical instructor in psychology at Harvard Medical School at the Cambridge Hospital, Dr. John Cherban. Dr. Cherban is author of a new book which every parent needs to read. Let me rephrase that. Every parent needs to read before dark today. The title of the book is How to Talk with Your Kids About Sex. And John, thank you for being here, and thanks for writing this book.
I can't wait to read it.
Okay, so you have a 12-year-old.
I do.
Smart?
Very.
Outgoing?
Very.
Attractive?
Beautiful.
So she's going to have a boyfriend at some point, very likely, right?
Yes.
Well, you say that like, really? My daughter?
I know.
And you have excuse after excuse after excuse. You say you can't find the right time. She's never asked, so why bring it up, right? You just keep coming up with...
Well, I know I need to do it, and in my opinion, 12 was a good age. So this is why I'm here.
So do you realize you need to talk to her about this?
Yes, absolutely.
So you're not... we don't need to convince you need to do it. You just need to know how to do it.
Yep.
Where does she start, John? role play.
Sure.
This is your 12-year-old daughter.
Okay.
Oh, yay.
And,
No, this is awesome.
and you want to empower the child with accurate information. You're talking about sex. Tell her what you would say.
I've been wanting to talk with you about a part of life that's so very important, and it's called sex. What are you thinking about that? It's a little frightening, huh? Well, when you hear that word, what comes to your mind?
Ew.
Okay.
I've got that response from
No,
her.
I got you.
Well, have you ever used the word that's sexy, or you ever heard anyone say that?
No, yeah, I've heard it.
What do you think they're talking about?
Okay, now I'm going to put myself in her shoes. You know, looking nice or,
Okay.
you know, dressing maybe, you know, inappropriate or...
Oh, inappropriate.
Yeah.
So do you think sex is inappropriate?
I don't know.
You don't know. Well, I want to talk a little bit about it and find out what it might mean. So I want to sit down and talk with you about this word and see, it seems like it's not so clear for you. In sex ed, have you talked about sex at all?
A little bit.
What kind of things have they shared with you?
Just about puberty and how babies are made and things like that.
Okay. And what do you think about how babies are made, or the idea that one day you might be having a baby?
I don't know.
You're not sure? Okay. All right.
You're doing great. So are you. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay.
This is so realistic. Go ahead.
Well, you know, I want to go over with you what is in the sex ed, and I want to talk with you about some of those parts, because sex is really a very important part of our life, and it actually connects us with people. What do you think about that? You know, I mean, it connects you. You know that it connects us physically. It doesn't sound like you're wanting to talk about that too much, but I want you to have all of this under your belt so that when you're walking in life and someone says something, you know what they're thinking, or you know what they're up to, and you also know what you're wanting, because that's the most important thing for me.
Thank you, Mom.
So you want out of this conversation. You're 12 years old.
No, it did put me in a little bit of, it put me in her shoes, or how she may feel.
Yeah.
Although I'm 30, not 12, it's,
Right.
you know, it's kind of gives me an idea of how she may feel.
I would start talking with her about hormones. I would start talking about her changes that are occurring and how that might make her feel more attracted or open to boys. I mean, girls often between the ages of 7 and 10 or even maybe younger, maybe 5 and 8 these days, are more focused on being with girls and not with boys. But it is those changes in their bodies which do indeed make them more interested.
Well, it's funny you
vice
say
versa.
that, because I have a 6-year-old who asks a lot of questions.
There you go.
And I kind of have to put on the mommy role, you know, to address a 6-year-old. And then, I mean, she asked me the other day where babies came from, and I explained it to her, and she started crying. I mean, how they physically come out of our body, and she started crying. She was terrified.
Yeah.
Well, I think that really is on your point about trying to use age-specific information, and I think what we're trying to talk about in this book is to try to be in touch. You know, generally a 5 or a 6-year-old wants a simple an answer and doesn't want the details of anatomy.
Right.
So if you go a little
she
bit
kept
ahead, you know,
asking.
they can, yeah, it's just like too much information. So, and they'll let you know, and I think, you know, if you make a mistake, it's okay. The point is to keep the conversation going.
All right, so is this helping you?
Yes. Is
there anything specific you want an answer to before we finish?
I just want it all written down on a pad of paper.
Well, I don't
so
think
I
you
can
need
just have
to.
it right
I don't think you
there.
need to worry about all of those answers.
Is there too much I could possibly say?
Well, I think you did a little bit, or you felt like you did with your 6-year-old, and you could back up and try to kind of secure, you know, kind of secure her and kind of engage her in a feeling of comfort. You don't want to overwhelm her or make her frightened.
Yeah, she did keep asking questions though.
But
Like
that's
she
awesome.
wanted to know
And
more.
that is excellent.
And follow that dialogue line. She will guide you through that. I mean, if you sit down with her and you say, well, storks bring babies, she's going to say, Mom. I mean, so you know that would be too simplistic. So you want to ask her, you know, Dr. Cherubin said, begin by saying, tell me what you know. Then he's given you some very specific things to engage.
Right, and I think this big point of affirming that inquiry. So whenever she's asking, even if the question's off the wall, you don't know what to do, just say, I'm really happy you asked me, because it's so important that we talk about all the things.
I truly would be.
Awesome, of course. All right, next, a mom who says her daughter is dressing too sexy too soon. And she says she's doing it so boys will notice her. That's why I said I wanted you guys to be listening to this conversation. We'll be right back.
My 14-year-old daughter dresses sexy. She wears her shorts rolled up, her tummy showing. She would do anything to get attention from boys.
Our next guest, Dina, says her 14-year-old daughter, Brianne, has been doing whatever it takes to get attention from the opposite sex. Take a look.
My 14-year-old daughter dresses sexy on purpose just so she can attract boys. She wears skin-tight clothes. She looks cheap. She went onto Facebook and posted a bunch of photos that were very racy. She had photos of her boobs hanging out of her shirts, her shorts rolled up, her tummy showing. I was utterly shocked. I found postings that said she loves sex even though she's never had sex yet, that she was bisexual even though she is not. She would do anything to get attention from boys and men. I feel like there's no way to stop her.
Okay, you're frustrated and worried.
Yeah.
Right? Yes. And you heard the conversation that I was having with Julie and John. You heard what I was saying about the fact that girls, when they begin to show this kind of behavior, and it really is crossing the line from a logical standpoint, you have to ask yourself why. And you heard what I said to them. How do you answer that for your daughter? Why is she doing this?
I don't have an answer. That's why I'm here.
Well, you really don't? I feel like I'm missing something here. When I look at human behavior of any sort, males, females, young, old, whatever, people don't repeat behaviors. They don't have a pattern of behavior unless they're getting a payoff in some way, right?
Right.
Let me ask you again, why is she doing what she's doing?
Because she obviously wants attention, and she's apparently not getting enough in her home.
But she's found out this gets her attention, right?
Absolutely.
Because this isn't just something she's casually about. She's dressing twice.
Right.
She's putting clothes on under her clothes. Yeah. And then she's going out and she's changing. And let me ask you something. What kind of career does she have right now?
She's a student.
Okay. So that means somebody else is buying her clothes.
Right.
Right?
Well, let me explain that, because it's not, I buy undershirts to go underneath clothes, because that's the layered look, which are supposed to stay underneath the clothes. When she leaves, she takes the top layer off and wears underneath tops as the shirt.
Okay, you don't strike me as a slow learner. So you learn that when you buy her the layered look, it comes out being the unlayered look. So then I would think when you went back to buy some more layered clothing, you would think, I need to look at this in terms of how it's going to look without the top layer. I mean, come on. We've got to get back to common sense, right?
Yes. But no, it's not a but.
It is a but. You said but.
Tell me seriously, have you gone out shopping for a girl? 13 years of age. And this isn't my defense. It's the reality I feel that I'm living in, is that it's really hard to find anything that is not low, that she needs to wear something else underneath of it.
Well, you are being defensive about it, but it's a legitimate challenge. I agree. I do get that. And look, here's the thing. I think we have to really pick our battles, okay? And if it's something like with hair or fashion that you maybe wouldn't like, but it isn't getting a dangerous response, that's a battle you don't want to pick. Right. And if you think this one is going beyond fashion and beyond style and getting to be provocative to the point that she is getting dangerous attention from guys, that she is being a magnet to these guys that is going to put her in a situation that she is ill-equipped to handle,
right,
then that's a battle you want to pick.
Right.
And is that where we are?
I believe so,
okay.
Yes.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to meet Brianne and find out why she feels she has no choice but to dress sexy. She says, I have no choice.
In middle school, I saw other girls dressing sexier, and I wanted to get the attention that they got. I don't have a pretty face, so I use my body to get the attention that I need.
I pulled up our phone records, and she'd been talking to men from out of state. I found one of the phone numbers, and I called it, and it was a 30-year-old man. I'm absolutely terrified that she might meet someone that would rape or even kill her.
Well, that was Dina, who says she is petrified that her 14-year-old daughter Brianne's constant need for attracting boys is going to get her in trouble. Now, Brianne says she has to use her body to attract boys. Here's why.
I don't have a pretty face, so I use my body to get the attention that I need. In middle school, I saw other girls dressing sexier, and I wanted to get the attention that they got. I would leave the house with a big baggy shirt on, and then when I got to school, I would take it off, and I would have a belly shirt underneath it. I want to wear a push-up bra because my boobs are small. When I dressed this way, the boys started paying more attention to me. It made me feel wanted, which made me feel better about myself. One day I made a Facebook account. I saw girls posting provocative pictures of themselves, and they got a lot of comments and likes, so I decided to do the same thing. When I posted those pictures and people liked it, it made me feel good, and I wanted to keep doing it. When my mom found out, she took away my TV, my Kindle, everything. I feel like I'm in prison. I just turned 14, and I feel like I should have more freedom. I feel like my mom is trying to mold me into something that I don't want to be.
Dr. Chervin, I'm going to ask you to help here. I'm going to go down and talk to Brianne. And just so all of you know, and Brianne, maybe this will kind of put some things in focus for you. I have you down here for a reason. Because while all of us can see you, I'm not showing your face on television. Okay? And the reason I'm not showing your face on television is because we're talking to you about dressing provocatively and sexy and all of that sort of thing. And I just don't think you identify children in that way. So I'm doing that to protect you, okay? I hate that because I wish I could show your face because you are absolutely beautiful. I mean, seriously. And studio audience, am I telling the truth or not? And there's a reason that I'm saying that is because you're not seeing yourself in a proper way. You have a distorted view of yourself, and so you think, you said on your tape, you think that you have to do that to get attention.
I mean, I just think, like, I mean, a lot of girls are more, like, mature in how they look at my age, and I'm just like, I mean, I don't really have, like, the body that I really want. I mean, like, the face, at least. And I feel like I should show my skin, because that'll, like, help me. You know, that'll make up for what I don't have.
Oh, that is so wrong. Dr. Chervin, what do you hear when you hear this?
Yeah, I think there are many very important points that are coming out in this story, and it's obviously that you're looking for something that you're not getting or you're not feeling. And I think on the one hand, when parents get messages from their kids that there's something wrong, they need to take it seriously. So in this case, there can be, like you're saying, this sense of, I don't look right, I'm not okay. I think parents need to take that seriously and help the child feel clear. That's on the outside. That's the easier part. But the more important part is the inside, and that's about the self-esteem. And then the most important question is, what is the message the boys are getting?
Look, here's my concern. One is you're sending a message that I don't think you're prepared to live with. You're sending a message that you are sexually available.
No.
You're not wanting to start sleeping with some guy.
No.
Yeah. So, did you notice the way she said that?
Thank goodness.
That was a good, Mom, that was a good no. I said I had two problems with this. One is that. And the second is that you have defined yourself very negatively and very narrowly. Just be who you are. And if they like you, they like you. If they don't, you don't. Not everybody's going to like you. But you're going to have more than your share to pick from. I know these things. I'm a professional. Will you think about it? All right, next we're going to talk to a mom who says parents should never speak with their kids about sex. Not ever, never, ever. She's even upset with me for doing this show and says she would be very disappointed if she found out that I talked to my kids about sex. We'll be right back.
My name is Lori, and I have a 10-year-old daughter named Kelly. Recently, Kelly has developed an interest in boys. She has developed crushes and has even asked me how old she needs to be to go on dates. Is 10 too young to be thinking about boys and dating?
Well, that was Lori, who raises a good question. What is the appropriate age to start dating alone? A is 12, B is 14, C is 15, D is 16. So vote. I think I can predict this one. Go, 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 go. All right. All right. Now, if you said 12, stand up. Yeah, that's what I thought. Not a damn one of you is going to admit to saying 12. 12 is too young. The answer is 16. All right, my next guest, Anna, is adamant that parents should never, ever speak with their children about sex and is joining us via Polycom. So, Anna, why do you say this? I've always felt like information, knowledge was power.
I believe that you can have conversations with your children, and you should have conversations with your children. They're not asking for that talk. They're not asking for that. What they're asking for are parents who are going to show them values when they're younger. Abstinence until you're married. Sex is for after your husband and wife. And that's what my kids believe. I've talked to them just since we were preparing for this show and said, tell me this. Would you ever have felt comfortable if I talked to you about something that's reserved for after you're married? If I talked to you about sex? And they just kind of said, come on, Mom. You know, that doesn't make them comfortable. That doesn't make them do anything except think that I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth. Here's this sex talk just in case you decide to devalue yourself.
Okay, whoa, wait a minute. Hold on. Now, you have to take a breath once in a while and let me respond. To say that to have a sex talk with a young man or a young woman is here's information in case you want to devalue yourself is an absurd position, in my opinion. I'm sorry. And if you're going to be disappointed if I had the sex talk with my boys, I've got good news and bad news. I didn't have the sex talk with my boys, so you can be happy about that. Here's the bad news. It wasn't a talk. It was an ongoing dialogue throughout their entire evolution. It wasn't a talk. It was one that began with, you know, where babies come from mommy and daddy, all the way up to making the right decisions and understanding how to predict the consequences of their actions. So they understood when you choose the behavior, young man, you choose the consequences. And if you choose the consequences of having sex, you put yourself and you put her at risk, and that is ridiculous, and you don't want to do that. And I did have that conversation, and I did raise my boys in a God-centered home, and I don't think that our Maker doesn't want me to make my boys intelligent about what's going on in this world sexually and otherwise. Robin, and of course it's the dad's job, I think, sometimes to talk to the boys, but you did talk to them about values and relationships and how to treat women.
Oh, yes. I believe that there are some things, in fact, a lot of things that women know that men just cannot know and need to learn from us and hear from us. So, yes, I told our boys their entire lives how to respect women, how to treat them with dignity and respect, and how to honor them, and how to cherish them.
At the top of the show, I said the appropriate age to begin sex education with your kids was at birth. Now, let me explain what I'm talking about, and I think Dr. Turbin addresses this in the book. It's important to provide loving and caring interactions. I mean, in terms of knowing that it's okay to have human contact, tickle, hug, kiss, things like that. It's important to support your child's body exploration, especially during hygiene and toilet training, so they don't feel like there's something wrong with acknowledging parts of their body. And it's important to monitor social exposure and the models that they're seeing on television and personal contacts, so you make sure that they're not imprinting on the wrong sort of person and living for some image that just doesn't exist. You don't want to shame your child because of what they say or do sexually. You got to be open about that every step of the way. And if they do bring up something that's sexual, you don't want to treat it as though it's funny or bad. Oh, no, don't say that. And don't project adult behaviors onto infants. I mean, they'll do things as infants that would mean something different as an adult. Well, listen, I want to thank all of my guests today. A very special thanks to John Cherban, whose new book, How to Talk with Your Kids About Sex, is available wherever books are sold. And everybody in the audience today is going home with a copy. So all of you guys get a copy of the book. Thanks for being here so long.